This is a background lecture to the movie The King's Speech. The King's Speech is a movie about the British king during the time before World War II. This is a true story about a critical period in world history. Britain had over a quarter of the world's population at this time and was one of the wealthiest countries in the world. If King Edward had not chosen to renounce the throne to marry Wallis Simpson, then the British government would almost certainly have gone off at a critical time of wartime. Hitler was marching towards Europe, and there was a crisis in the royal family. This is what the movie is about in a nutshell. This is Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. Now, this was her father, King George VI. You can see the real person to the left and the actor who plays King George VI in the movie to the right. This is the old King George V. Now you can see the actor to the right and the real person to the left. This was King George VI's father, so don't be confused. There are two King Georges. One is the old king, and then it's the newer king, and then this guy then is the grandfather of Queen Elizabeth II. There are more people in the royal family. This is the Queen Mother, also known as Queen Elizabeth. She wasn't a real queen, she was married to King George VI. So she is the mother of Queen Elizabeth II. This guy to the right plays Prime Minister Winston Churchill, which you can see to the left. Now, King George VI had a problem with his voice. He was a stammerer. He had a speech impediment, and Lionel Logue, which you can see to the right is the actor, was the king's speech therapist to help him cope with his speech impediment. Lionel Logue was from Australia. Now, the question, or one of the questions of the movie, a central question, is how do you become a good public speaker? So King George had a problem when it comes to holding speeches and talking in general. He stammered. How was he to be a good king if he could not hold or perform speeches? That was one of the main issues of the movie. This is the UK royal family from 1939. Now, sort of in the middle, you can see, in the middle to the left, you can see Queen Elizabeth II as a child. And then it's the Queen Mother to the left, which was known as Queen Elizabeth, although she was never a queen. She was married into the establishment. To the right is King George VI. So, as I mentioned, he was Queen Elizabeth II's father. And then we must assume it's his mother in the middle, and then it's Queen Elizabeth's sister to the right. Now, to make the story a bit more complicated, this was His Majesty King Edward VIII. He was the brother of King George VI. King Edward was king for almost a year. And then he renounced the throne. That means he abdicated the throne. He didn't want to be king any more than a year. This was because, as a king, he was not able to marry the love of his life, Wallis Simpson, seen to the right and to the left, hence the actor and the real person. He wanted to marry this lady, and he couldn't as long as he was king. He wasn't allowed from the archbishop and the church. So that's why he renounced the throne. He stepped down as king, and then his brother had to take over the throne and become King George VI. So there was a crisis in the royal family then at the time.